Reed, what up, bro? You boy, work your team. I'll let you. Shout out to the Lost Boys. Y'all stay intact, all right? Peace right here in the building.
REED-BBS, BBS. Devin the Dream Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. for the WBO Welterweight Championship. They'll be throwing hands Saturday, November the 22nd on the Ring 4 Riyadh season card, Night of the Champions from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. As I assess this fight, I've reached the conclusion that two things can be true simultaneously. Two things can be true simultaneously. Number one, no fighter in the world under the age of 30 is as ambitious as Devin the Dream Haney is. As boxing entered the social media age, we had GervontaDavis, RyanGarcia, Virgil Ortiz, Teofimo effing Lopez, Shakur Stevenson, Jaron Boots Ennis. And to a man, none of them are as ambitious as Devin Haney is. None of them. Both in terms of resume and accolades, none of those men are as accomplished as Devin the Dream Haney is either. In a boxing world where everybody says they want to fight the best, nowadays everybody is tweeting that they want to fight the best. Only Devin the Dream Haney actually gets around to consistently fighting the best amongst his peers under the age of 30. This is the gospel, God's absolute truth. There's no taking that statement back. But now let's get on to truth number two. This is a dumb fight for Devin the Dream Haney. Brian Norman Jr. is the wrong opponent for him. I said it when the fight was first signed, and I'm keeping that same exact energy now. I ain't switching up. Matchmakers gauge each fight on a risk-reward ratio. And in the case of Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr., the risk-reward just ain't there. It ain't there. To the point where there's not a matchmaker in the world that would make this fight. Not a matchmaker with Dev's best interests at heart, that is. Not after the last two fights of Norman and of Dev. If you watch their last two fights, no way would you pair those two together. Not if you have Devin Haney's best interests at heart. Brian Norman Jr.'s never looked better than he did in his last two fights, whereas Devin Haney has never looked worse. In fact, in Devin Haney's most recent fight against Jose Ramirez, that's what prompted Turki Al-Sheikh to come out criticizing Tom and Jerry fights. That was a direct shot at Dev's performance versus Jose Ramirez. As Dev nervously moved about the ring against Jose Ramirez, he actually looked like he was struggling with PTSD from the fight prior against the Rye guy, RyanGarcia. The Dev that we saw just in May against Jose Ramirez, that Devin Haney should have been eased into a fight with a Brian Norman Jr. You don't go from what we saw in May, Jose Ramirez, to fighting Brian Norman fucking Jr. in November. WBC champion Mario Barrios was out there. Rolly Romero, who fought on that same card where Dev stunk up the joint against Jose Ramirez. Rolly Romero, he beat up RyanGarcia on the card and was subsequently named WBA champion. That was an option. The IBF title, which was just vacated by Jaron Boots Ennis, that was there. Dev could have eased his way into 47 a little bit better instead of jumping right in with Brian Norman Jr. And I almost feel like Turki Al-Sheikh is forcing this because of the Tom and Jerry comment. He's like, yo, I'm going to keep doing business with you, but you're going to have to fight this motherfucker over here. Instead of easing into the welterweight division, Devin Haney chose, or more importantly, it was chosen for him to take on Brian Norman Jr. It was chosen for him. Mind you, Team Haney seems very confident on the surface, saying all the right shit, projecting confident energy, but they did the same shit in Dev's last two fights, against the Rye guy and against Jose Ramirez. I'm smelling false bravado on the part of Team Haney, on top of Floyd Mayweather wannabe bullshit on the part of Dev. In fact, I call Dev Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Jr. Yes, Dev is quicker. Dev is taller. Dev has got a deeper bag of skills at his disposal. Dev's more experienced here. But Dev gets hit. Dev gets hit. He gets touched up. He got touched up against Loma. He got touched up against Linares. We can't erase the Rye Guy fight from our memories. And then Dev brought his track shoes to the ring against Jose Ramirez. We can't forget any of that. So you're bringing that into the ring with Brian Norman, big, strong welterweight in your first true welterweight fight. True welterweight fight. I don't think Dev can stick and move his way to victory here. I don't think Dev's jab and lateral movement will be enough. And no, I'm not falling for the increased musculature in Dev. He's looking great at the higher weight, but I'm not convinced that adds to an increase in power. And I'm hearing a lot of Devin Haney fans predicting a fucking TKO just because he looks better at the weight, just because he's flexing all of a sudden, got an 8-pack instead of a 6-pack. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Devin Haney is a slick black fighter with shitty defense. His defense is piss poor for considering the way he fights. His defense is piss poor. And he's not going to dance in the rain, the Saudi Arabian Riyadh season rain, with Brian Norman for 12 rounds without getting touched at some point, without getting hit at some point. It's only a matter of time. It's inevitable. And once that happens, it's all downhill for Dev. Points to Dev for ambition, for pushing the envelope, for consistently being above just trolling and flexing on Twitter. Dev means what he says. He does. I just don't think Dev is as good as he and Dollar Bill Haney thinks he is. Subscribe, comment. Remember, sharing is caring. Love tap and or bitch slap that like button for your boy. And shout out to the homies at fightbeat.com. Can you step to this? REED-BBS, BBS. Black Burke Sugar. Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.